What is up guys, and welcome to my latest video here on SP Vids. Today we're on the SP404-MK2, bit of a theme of this channel obviously, and I wanted to show you 5 features which are seriously useful and you probably aren't using. Now these are things that have just suddenly sort of popped into my workflow and I find them very helpful, so I thought I'd go through these today and show you how they work. Just before I start guys, don't forget to check out all my links in the description. Really helps to keep me making videos like this. I've got beat packs and merch on spvids.com, and there's loads of other ways you can support me as well, so if you could take a look at those links, I'd really appreciate it. Okay, let's get on to the first one, INIT PARAM. Now you can see it here under 6. This is one which I don't really use too much up until recently, and now it's starting to become very useful, and in particular I find it useful when you're playing around with pitch. So for example, I've got this resampled loop here, and let's say for example we started repitching it. Let's say we took it down sort of 6, or we did shift and started playing around with the type of pitching. So say we went to ensemble and started repitching that down. So yeah, a few weeks ago I would have been trying to get all these back to 0 manually like this with the dials, but if we come out of this area, we'll just hit it again to make sure we're on this pad. You can actually see it says J9 at the top there. We'll do shift and 6, and it says current sample parameter in it, are you sure? I'm going to go yes, and now we're right back to all the settings that we had before we started messing around with the pitch. And there's a few other things it can sort out as well. I'll put those on the screen from the manual, start points and end points, things like that. Super handy feature. Definitely add this one to your workflow if you're not already using it. Okay, the next thing is that you can rename projects. Now, if you're someone that exports from this device a lot, then this is going to be very useful. It's going to make things a lot more organized. And the great thing about this is it's very easy to get to. It is a bit tedious to do, but it's easy to get to, which is great. So when you're inside any project, which you can change by doing shift and subpad, you can see I'm in 10 here. All you have to do is hold remain, and you can see here project 10. Mine has actually already been renamed to Mad Funk. So all you have to do is go in here. It's going to have some sort of weird default project name. You can use the value wheel to move around and select whichever character you want. You click the value wheel. It gives you the full alphabet, numbers, uppercase, lowercase, symbols, all those kinds of things. So you can go in there and change the name to whatever you want. And then as soon as you're happy with what you've put, you just literally scroll to OK and hit that with the value wheel. And then as you can see with mine, my project is called Mad Funk. So if I export that, it's going to be named properly and I'm going to know exactly what it is. So yeah, that's another really handy feature. If you like being organized and you like exporting a lot, definitely get into the habit of doing that on this device. Okay, my third little tip is nice and simple, but this one is really useful. Now, a lot of you may press the MFX button and sort of use the wheel to scroll through like this. Now, there's a much easier way to get to page 2 and 3. You can see here I'm scrolling through and getting to page 2 and 3. And it's a combination of the 3 buttons on the side here, Isolator, DJ FX Looper and MFX, and using the pads here 1 to 16. So we press and hold MFX, and when we're holding that, these 16 pads are now the equivalent of these 16 effects. So you can see if I go through, it's highlighting them all. Just makes it a lot easier to select them. And then if we want to get to page 2, we press and hold MFX and DJ FX Looper at the same time. So that takes us to the second page, and then again we can use the 16 pads to scroll through and select whichever MFX we want to use. And then for page 3, it's exactly the same again, but we use Isolator instead. So MFX and Isolator. You can see we're on page 3 of 3, and we can go ahead and select those as well. Hopefully at some point in the future, one of these is filled with sidechain compression, hey guys. So that's a really handy one. It's much easier to scroll through the MFX using these 3 buttons and using the pads 1 to 16 here. Okay, this one's a really quick one, but I find this so useful when I'm playing around with samples and also a lot in the pattern area as well, when I want to select a pad, but I don't want to trigger it. So this is going to let you select pads silently, basically. So you can see there I've just hit 1 and obviously it plays back the sample. We can see on the screen J1 is now selected. But what if I want to change to a different pad but I don't want to trigger it? Well, all you have to do is press and hold the value wheel and then select the pad that you want. So for example, if we go to J2, you can see there now J2 is selected on the screen, but no sound actually came out of the device. If I went ahead and just went back to J1 again, it's going to sound again. But if you press and hold the value wheel down, you can see on the screen now I'm going through all the samples on this particular bank and they're not making any noise, and it's selecting them silently. It's really, really useful, that, especially when you're playing around with sounds in the pattern mode. I tend to use that quite a lot, so make sure you use that. It's going to make your workflow a lot more pleasant. Okay, the last one is to do with resampling. Now with resampling, you actually have more options than you might think on the SP404 Mark II. So if we hit resample, you can see in the middle here we kind of have this Moo logo. I think it looks like Moo. It's an M with basically an infinity symbol. So that's saying measures. How many measures do you want? So you can actually change this to 1 measure, 2 measures, 4 measures, 8, 16, 32, and then infinity. So if you just wanted to record a 4-bar resampled loop, you can set it to M4 here, and you can see that it says counting off. Well, we can go ahead and do Shift and 10, and we can do counting 1 measure, counting 2 measures, or counting wait, or counting off. So we might do counting 1 measure just to get a feeling of the time. We can change the BPM at the top here, you can see. So I could take this down to say 82, if it'll let me. Really doesn't want to let me do that. So let's just have that on 80 for this video. And then if we want a metronome as well, Shift and 9, metronome on, you can see. So now resample, we'll choose a pad, and we just hit a pad to start. There we go, I've nailed it on that particular go. Slight confession, it did take a bit of editing, that one, and it took a few attempts, but I've finally got that right. So I know there now, I've got a 2-bar loop at 80 BPM. That's going to be really useful if, say, I want to put that into a DAW, or if I want to put it into the pattern area. We know it's dialed in to that particular BPM. So yeah, that's not something that I've used very much up until recently, but it can be very, very useful in certain situations. So there we go, guys. I hope those tips helped. That's 5 ideas there. Let me know if you already use these in your workflow, and let me know if these are new to you and you're going to start using them. That would be great to hear. Big shout out to my members for the monthly support, and to everyone that buys stuff in my shop. It's really, really appreciated, and I'll be back with another video very, very soon.